Now, I do have a notion of what I'm doing. I'm just not entirely clear yet on how I'm gonna finish this. I do keep thinking about wrapping epoxy twine or similar. The grain in this wood is very lovely. I also recently learned about ebonizing, wood ebonizing, which works very well with oak. So I got all kinds of ideas running through my head, but one thing's for sure: this is not straight, so that it's not very bent, but there's a little, you can probably see there, kind of kicks off to the left there. The thing, it's got a bit of warp and a bit of this and that. So if I affix it perfectly straight into a handle, the whole thing's not going to line up anyway. So I think that for sure what I'm going to do is split this in half. And then I was thinking to cut in on the inside of each half, you know, the way I make a lot of knives. I don't have an example to hand, but anyway, maybe I do. Who cares? This one here. See? This is a very strong construction. In principle, it's actually stronger than not having that split there, because then you're joining that split with epoxy resin, which is stronger than the wood itself, and you know, pinning it and what have you. So I've whittled the handle out, and so if I now cut it in half, you know, then I'm guaranteed this nice ergonomic shape, which I have whittled out through touch and feel, using this very fine William Collins Sloyd knife, which incidentally shares the grind, or a kind of a geometric characteristic, with this one here, in that it has a distal taper, and so the bevel angle remains constant, but it thins out. Lovely. I actually did some of the initial chopping with this to chop this shape out, but once it was there in the rough, and that worked very well, by the way, very satisfactory, just holding it like this. Nice. But yeah, you know, now at this point, this knife works very well. So I'm not going to worry too much about what's going on down here, but I think I'm going to leave this mass here. So this is going to be basically my end shape, because through gripping onto it like this, and also like this, one may visualize, which I had a notion to try. I'm not sure whether this is going to work because the blade is so heavy, but to try to get this into the position that I figured out for it, and then see whether I can get it to kind of approximately hold that position with some tape while I play around with it, see how that feels. So it's a bit of a rinky-dink notion, but I think it will help. Because this is the way I do design, so to speak, if you can call it that. Fabricobbling is probably a good word. Right. So I'm not going to start swinging this on camera, but let me just swing it off camera and I'll tell you how that feels. Yeah. just about right. Yeah, I'm not quite on the line I drew there, but the notion's definitely there. So, yeah, the next thing, the hassle here, it's not the industrial way of doing things, but it does require some personal industry, as I'm going to split this all the way down the middle. I'm just going to go all the way. I could cut it here and split up to there and retain this, but I'm thinking I might want the whole thing thicker. So if I just put a liner in, that's the thickness of this, then I will have all of the end thickness I want, so I can have a nice thick pommel here or what have you. I mean, there are all kinds of ways to build it out and reduce it and what have you. Thanks for watching.